5.1 Antiderivatives and Indefinite Integration. So this whole chapter, antiderivatives, we're basically undoing a derivative. It's the inverse of a derivative. So part A here, let's look at this example. Find the antiderivative f, so we're going to call the antiderivative f, of f of x equals 3x squared. Okay, so suppose that 3x squared is a derivative, then what would be the original function? The original function, this is the antiderivative. Okay, so what would we what's the original function that we took the derivative of to get 3x squared? Or the derivative of what function with respect to x equals 3x squared? Okay. So if you think about this one here, this would be x cubed. Because x cubed, if we took the derivative of that, that would be 3x squared. So going back this way, where we're finding the original function, that's known as the antiderivative. So find the antiderivative of 3x squared. F of x, that's the notation for the antiderivative, would be 3 cubed. Now let me show you something here, because it's actually a family of functions. What if I asked you to take the derivative of 3x plus 2? Would that not also equal 3x squared, because the derivative of 2 is equal to 0? What about 3x plus 7? If I told you to take the derivative of that, that also would be 3x squared. So really, when we're finding the antiderivative, we're going back this way. This could be this is known as a family of functions, where there's no way to really know the constant. We're just going to say the constant is equal to c. So the antiderivative f of x would be x cubed plus c. Since we don't know what that number would be, it's going to be some number, even if it's 0. We just put plus c there. All right, so let's get familiar with some notation here. Notation of antiderivative of indefinite integration. All right, so this is the notation that we're going to get used to looking at when we're trying to find the antiderivative or the integral or indefinite integration. So the integral, this big S here, is the integral of f of x dx. Okay? And the result would be the antiderivative. So this would be big F of x plus c. Okay, this would be going the opposite way. C is the constant. So this is known as the result is known as the antiderivative. Basic rules, basic integration rules. The inverse nature of integration and differentiation can be verified by substituting the derivative of the antiderivative, or f of x, in the indefinite integration definition to obtain. So if we integrate the derivative of the antiderivative with respect to x, that's going to be equal to the antiderivative plus c. Or another way to represent this would be the derivative of the integral of f of x dx with respect to x would be equal to f of x. So basically what this is trying to say here is if you take the derivative of an integral, they are going to undo each other, they're inverses, and that's going to equal the function. This is saying the same thing here. The derivative, which is the prime, and the integral, they would undo each other. You'd be left with big f of x. Here are all of the basic rules for integration and differentiation. So I would pause this video, take a screenshot. You need to have all of these memorized.